Hey everyone, welcome back to Paws and Talk. Thanks for joining us today. I'm pretty excited because I have a very long-time friend with me today, and her name is Robin Ratz. So thank you, Robin, for being here. So a little bit of a little backstory behind you here. So who are you? What have you been doing?
Most people probably remember me from when I was working with you at the Humane Society. Since then, I've decided to do something a little bit different, and I've been fostering dogs.
Awesome. And so how long have you been actually fostering animals for now?
I fostered before the Humane Society, so now I've been fostering for over 1.5 years.
So a while, eh?
Yeah.
So how many to date? I guess obviously you've had a lot of puppies and everything like that, which everyone will see in a little bit. But how many dogs do you think that you've actually fostered?
Over 100.
Over 100.
I had 17 at Christmas.
Wow. How do you even function with 17 animals running around? Like, you must have a team. Do you have like a team of people to help you at your house?
I'm really lucky. I have,
Yeah.
as you know, I have a great husband, Doug, and my son, Kyle, is really helpful as well. So between all of us, we can make it work.
Yeah, no kidding. That's crazy though, 17, especially around Christmas time, right? So obviously you have a little friend here with us as well. And who is this?
This is Molly.
Nice to meet you, Molly. I like her little bow. She's looking pretty spiffy today.
Molly always looks spiffy.
So tell me a little bit about Molly.
So Molly's, her story is amazing. She was an owned dog in a community, and she was hit by a car.
Oh, wow.
So Northern Reach brought her in, and they looked after her care for a little while. And then because they realized it was gonna be pretty intensive, they switched her over to Adopt a Mutt.
Okay.
And so now Sam's in charge of her care. One of the things about Molly is she came in, she had a broken pelvis, she had a broken femur, a spinal cord injury, as well as her metacarpal bones on her hand were all broken, and she was pregnant.
Wow. So what did you guys even do about this? Like, obviously it was a pretty big shock, right? Like dealing with any kind of animal that has any kind of trauma issues. How did like you and the rescue handle her, and what made you want to take her on specifically?
I think I like looking after the special needs or the medical things. I understand it. So when she first came in, she was crate. That was it. She was only allowed to be in her crate. So I gave her a little area, and I would curl up with her, and I would watch TV together. And then the rescue, we went to see an amazing orthopedic surgeon that we have here. He looked at her and said, we're going to keep wrapping the metacarpal bones, but we're going to hope the rest fuses, and we're going to have to wait till after she has her babies, which was a planned cesarean.
And what actually happened?
The day before we were going in for another checkup, she went into labor in the middle of the night, and she had 6 beautiful puppies.
Wow, that is crazy, especially for her size too, right? Like that is pretty shocking. You guys will see the puppies in a little bit, and you'll understand what we're saying. So why is fostering an animal so important to you?
To me, it gives them a second chance at life, or a chance they would have never had. It saves the dog. It's just a temporary bridge until a final home can be found, but I think it's vital, absolutely vital.
And like in your opinion, what makes a great foster parent?
Flexibility, lots of flexibility. Being able to give love, having your heart hurt a little bit, because it does with each one that you have to give up, it does hurt.
So with saying that, sorry, like I don't mean to cut you off, Robin, but with saying that, and I know that you specifically been in this scenario, so obviously a lot of people have heard about foster failures, and I don't like how it sounds. Like it sounds like a negative scenario, but I think it's one of the best case scenarios, that can actually happen. But what does foster failure mean? And tell me a little bit about a couple of your foster failures.
A joke is we say foster failing means the dog actually stayed with you. You own the dog after you weren't able to give it up. And that has happened to me on 4 occasions. So 4 of my dogs are foster failures, and I only have 2 of them left because 2 of them weren't well. But it's amazing. It's just, I would never do anything. Probably that's the only way I'll ever get dogs, is to foster fail.
You can literally see like the light in your face, like light up. It's just crazy to see, and I love that about you. And that was one thing that, as soon as we had, an unfortunate scenario come in, exactly what you, like we talked about before about, you know, unfortunate health scenarios. Right away, we always thought about Robin and she was our number one phone call, our first phone call for any situation. And she never hesitated. So that it's absolutely amazing. So I think on behalf of all of the rescues in Thunder Bay, because I know that you've worked with literally everyone, I think that it's safe to say, you know, thank you so much for everything that you do, because you're literally a hero. So when we kind of talked about you having the 17 dogs at Christmas, that obviously takes time, patience, time management skills. What are some things that you would want people to know about fostering? So kind of, if, you know, in that, like at your very beginning, what are some things that you wish you knew back then that you know now?
I think for people that they need a little bit more education before they foster. I was lucky because of working at the Humane Society and stuff. I had that bit of a background where I didn't get upset when there was diarrhea, or I didn't get upset when there's things. I knew other things I could try, such as probiotics, those kind of things. So I think education is really important for new foster parents. First aid, knowing the basics. So if a dog is hurt, what do you do? When should you call a vet? When can you deal with it sort of on your own? I think that's really important. Everyone has the heart to foster, but I think sometimes heart's not enough.
Yeah.
You have to listen sometimes to screaming puppies
Yeah.
night and day, especially when you're crate training and trying to break them away from mom. There is nothing but poop and pee to pick up when you have puppies. And so, yeah, it's lovely and it's wonderful and it makes your heart swell to enjoy these puppies, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And yeah, it takes a lot out of you.
No kidding. So you actually just mentioned vet costs. So who actually is in charge of the vet costs during your fostering?
That's the great thing about fostering too, is that all the costs are paid for by whatever rescue you're fostering for. So they pay the vet, the food, the toys. If you need pee pads, anything at all, they cover it.
Yeah, so they're pretty much your full support, which obviously it's very important, especially when it comes to, you know, bringing a new animal into your home. Having that support system, I think, is really important. So fostering is obviously, just in general, extremely, extremely important. So, so when we come back, we're going to have two new little guests with us, and we're pretty excited for that. So stay tuned, guys. We'll see you soon. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again. As you see, we're in a little bit of a different attire, and we have two new guests. So Robin, why don't you tell us a little bit about who we have with us right now?
So we decided to bring some of Molly's babies, and this was the firstborn, and her name is Puppies. When she was born, she was 100 grams.
Wow.
So
she's so tiny.
Yeah, she was pretty small, and Jack was the last to be born. And he was not 100 grams.
You can tell he's a little bit bigger, but you know, he just has more love, that's all. So how long have these guys been in your care?
So they were born on May 1st in my home.
Okay.
So like I said, we were supposed to have a cesarean, but Molly thought differently, and she did wonderful. These were 6 puppies were born within 2 hours.
Wow. So for her size, that's pretty unheard of too, right? Like she...
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously everyone can see that we're in these lovely gowns and gloves. So let's talk a little bit about that. What's going on? Why are we wearing this?
So these particular puppies are 7 weeks old, and today they're actually going for their first vaccination. So they've not been vaccinated. Now, they get a lot of immunizations and that kind of thing from their mom, but not enough. So anybody that came into this room, including ourselves, if we've touched other dogs or accidentally touched something, we can make them sick. So what we're doing is we're allowing the show to go on basically by making sure we put precautions in place for the puppies.
Yeah. So when do puppies actually get vaccinated? At what age?
Most most vets believe about the same. About 7 to 8 weeks is their first vaccination. Then they get a second within about 3 to 4 weeks, and then a third.
Okay.
Just to make sure that their boosters and everything are up to date.
So what exactly does the vaccines do? I know like we just kind of just touched on it a little bit, but like what does it do for their immune systems? Does it make it stronger? How does that kind of work?
Absolutely. The reason that puppies are done is they have mom's maternal immunizations, globulins, whatever you want to call them, into them. So they're done more often just to give them that extra bonus. So it fights off things like parvo and influenza and distemper and Lyme disease, all those things that we now have in Thunder Bay. So.
Yeah, we were just actually talking about that in between actually. And so long story short, we have had some cases of parvo, and you and I have dealt with it as well in the past. So can you talk a little bit about parvo and explain kind of what it is briefly?
Just it's a virus that's easily picked up. You can even get it on your shoe and bring it into your house. That's why, you know, when people say, oh, well, my cat doesn't go outside, vaccines are just as important for indoor cats because of that reason. It's what we bring into the house. That incident we just were referring to was these people found puppies and you know, everyone's heart was in the right place, but they weren't vet checked. And they ended up with parvo and very sick.
That's so sad.
So had they been vet checked and maybe given immunizations, the story might have been different. It might not have been, but I think that's important that we always remember how you don't bring puppies out to places, especially if they're not vaccinated. Because they could pick up anything and die, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah, actually, that was my next question. When should puppies be allowed to go outside exactly?
After at least their second vaccination. So it's not even the first one doesn't really cover it. The second one does. Even in my own home, they're now allowed in a certain area that none of my other dogs are allowed, and that's their only area to go outside, and that's in my own home.
Yeah, and that's well, I think a lot of people too, like, you know, everyone gets excited, and we obviously know that there are animals that are for sale on Kijiji and stuff like that, and so we always try to educate. And what we kind of discussed earlier is just making sure that the public knows how serious that, you know, situations can be. And obviously, you know, we're sitting here in these lovely gowns, but for a reason, right?
Yes.
And we always want to put their health first. And I think some people just get so excited and, you know, they get their brand new puppy and they want to, you know, bring the puppy outside and to take, you know, cute photos with them and everything. And I think we just kind of get so consumed with being so excited about having that new family member in our household that we forget about those types of things, right? So obviously we want to educate everyone and just let everyone know that it is serious, and to contact, you know, your local vet. And if you have questions, you know, you can always reach out to us too, you know, through obviously our show here. You can contact rescues. Everyone's here to support you. Any kind of animal welfare organization in Thunder Bay is 100% here to support our community, and I think that that's something that's really special. So yeah, we're pretty excited to have these little guys here. And also I want to kind of talk really quick about, you know, we discussed vaccines and how important that is, but what about like dewormers and stuff like that? Because I think a lot of people, they'll rush, like for like the flea and tick treatments, they'll go to like local pet stores to get it, and we've all kind of seen just like disastrous stories on, you know, social media and stuff like that. So in your personal opinion, what do you think people should do? Should they be purchasing those things, or should they contact their local vet to see if there's, you know, like how to go about it?
I think your local vet has to be your best friend. It has to be someone you completely trust, and therefore you ask all the questions. Because I do foster, my animals are protected against absolutely everything. Including fleas, ticks. I use Brevecta and HeartGuard as recommended by my vet. Your vet might recommend something different. The importance of having that vet relationship, though, so that you can ask those hard questions and make sure you're doing everything to keep your pets protected. One of the things with the shortage in Thunder Bay of vets is it takes about 3 weeks to get into a vet right now. So if you know you're getting a puppy, book your appointment right away.
Pre-plan, right? And I think that that's something that's really important as well. You know, don't just get an animal on a whim. And I think, again, we get so excited because we see these beautiful animals and, you know, we hear their stories and we just want to jump the gun. And it's it comes down to we want to help.
Yes.
And everyone goes through that phase. I see animals online like 17 times a day, and I'm sharing, and that's another way that you can help, is sharing the rescues, you know, stories for the animals and everything like that. You know, you don't always have to jump the gun and adopt an animal just to help. There's tons of ways, which we are going to talk about in a little bit. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks. Thanks for joining us again, guys. So we want to take a few minutes just to talk about, obviously, we have a lot of rescues in town. Specifically, though, we want to take a few minutes to talk about Adopt-A-Mutt and everything that they're doing in the city, upcoming events, and how you, as our community, can really help and support the rescue. So, Robin, let's talk a little bit about the adoption process. So how does that work through Adopt-A-Mutt specifically?
So if you go on to Adopt-A-Mutt's website, or even go on Facebook and the website's on there, there's an application process. And Sam will go and read every single application, fit each puppy to the best home.
Is Sam, sorry, so you just mentioned, for people that don't know, Sam is actually the founder of Adopt-A-Mutt. And so how long has Adopt-A-Mutt been around? Do you know specifically? I know it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
She's been one of the original rescues in Thunder Bay.
And she's focusing more on medical these days.
Yeah.
So anything like cleft puppies and things like that. That's kind of Sam's forte. She's awesome at it.
Yeah. I remember too, she was actually really strong at training puppies. And that was obviously everyone who knows, like, that has a puppy. It's quite difficult and very time consuming, right?
Yes.
I've literally watched her train 6 puppies at once, and her patience is just absolutely amazing. And you can tell, obviously, you know, that she's been doing this for a long time. She's very well educated. So obviously we want to thank Sam for letting us have her gorgeous little pups here with us today, and Mom. Yeah, see? Yeah, that's your thanks to Sam. So upcoming events and fundraisers. Let's talk a little bit about that. I know you guys got some stuff going on. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, up until these guys get vaccinated, they're not coming out of the house after today. But on August 7th, the horticultural community is doing the house garden, and all donations from that event will be going to Adopt-A-Mutt.
Wow.
And these puppies will be seen then at one of the houses they'll be at. And then we also have, for those people that really enjoyed it the last time, we had Jax explaining that we're having puppy yoga.
Oh.
And that'll be on August 8th at 6 o'clock at the Curtin River Community Center.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about puppy yoga. How does this work?
It's just a lot of fun. So we start off and we do some yoga just so people get that piece of it. And then we just allow these guys to run crazy free and enjoy the people. The people get to enjoy the puppies.
And socialize with them too, right? Which is
fantastic.
So good for, obviously, us. I mean, this is probably the best day of my life, right? Yeah, you're excited. But you know, it's so important to them to actually be socialized. So that's amazing.
We were talking about puppies and puppy care, and I believe that every puppy should go through at least 1 or 2, whoever you choose to go with, training, like you said, and the biggest piece is the socialization piece.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, we discussed with, you know, how you got involved with the charity. So how does one, say someone wants to volunteer, how does one volunteer and start getting involved with the charity itself?
There's so many rescues in Thunder Bay that really need help. They need help with donations. They need volunteers to help with fundraisers. They need people to pick up crates or pick up other things that are available, drop stuff off to foster homes, foster.
Yeah.
So yeah, and all of that is just going on Facebook and saying, hey, I'm interested. Who do I call? Who do I contact?
Yeah. I think too, a lot of people don't know about this. If you're traveling, say if you're driving like anywhere across Canada, rescues actually do, like sometimes they transfer out dogs, like specific behavioral issues or health concerns. Sometimes they just have to be transferred. So if anyone is actually driving across Canada, make sure you actually just reach out to some rescues. You'd be surprised. Follow them on Facebook.
Yep.
Adopt-A-Mutt is on Facebook. Yeah, I know. Adopt a Mutt is on Facebook, obviously, and the website is we'll provide to you guys as well. So we're pretty excited, and we're very grateful that our community has been there to obviously support a lot of animal welfare organizations in Thunder Bay. So we truly do thank everyone. So when we come back, we're gonna have the rest of the crew with us. So stay tuned, guys. Welcome back, everyone. As you can see, we got the rest of the crew going on over here, and it's pretty fun. We're having a great day at the office. So long story short, we have 1 million pups with us, and so Robin's going to talk to us a little bit about who is who and what is going on. So who do you have, Robin?
So meet Muffin. Muffin is the only female white colored one, so she's a cream colored base. And Muffin is the craziest out of the bunch. She's quite rambunctious and likes to start trouble, as you can see as she sits in my arms. Hey, Muffin? Okay, go play.
Oh my gosh, and who do I have?
So that's Billy. Billy was named actually on Father's Day by a lady that had lost her father.
Aww.
And she wanted to spread that to the rescue, so she named Billy and made a donation. Billy is obviously the other male. There's only 2 males in this group, and Billy is the other one. We already met Mr. Jack.
So tell us about Jack and his personality.
Jack is just kind of all around centered. He likes to play, likes to have fun, likes to cuddle, but generally he's pretty easygoing. He's probably the smartest. He figured out how to get out of the crates and stuff first.
And who do we have here?
So that one's Waffle. Waffle is our tri-colored female, and Waffle's the chillest. So out of all the puppies, she actually remains pretty steadfast, pretty easygoing. She likes to cuddle.
Well, she seems pretty cuddly.
Yeah.
I feel like her brothers and sisters really get her going, though, and I feel like that's
she can
definitely
get going with them. I'll introduce you to Panda as soon as we find her again.
She'll be back. And so, we're missing a couple,
Panda,
right?
just Panda.
Oh, she's not gonna hang out a little bit.
The one I was holding earlier.
You could just tell they're just having way too much fun right now. We thought this was going to be a great idea, and I'm still thinking that it is. So thank you, Shaw Spotlight, for dealing with all of our puppies right now. These guys are all going to be at Puppy Yoga, eh?
They all are, and I've invited a couple of other. My friend has a couple of puppies too, and so I invited them too, so we'd have more. This one is Puppins that we met before. She was the firstborn female, and don't let her little size intimidate you because she is feisty.
Oh, you can see Jack wants to play with his sisters.
And this is Panda, the other female, black and white female. And she's equally feisty. In fact, she's got that, when you hear the growl, it's out of her. She likes to be the boss.
Oh my gosh, these guys are hilarious. So obviously they are a handful.
Yes.
So how do you deal with this at home? You mentioned earlier that you had 17 at Christmas. So how do you deal with 6 that we got running around here?
This group, I have a puppy room in my house. So
Okay.
it's a room just for them to be in. It keeps them maintained in a smaller area, which is perfect, especially when you're first training them to use a pee pad or to use the pellet system like a litter box.
Yeah. So they actually are using, is that what they're doing right now? Using so how come you guys went with the litter? They just want to keep playing. I'm going to let them go for a second.
Sam does that. It's something I've tried for the first time, and it seems to work. So you're scooping more, and it seems to be a little bit of a cleaner system.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So they actually go into a pelleted litter.
Yes.
And so that's what Sam deals with. So obviously she recommends that, like, dealing with puppies and everything like that. It's probably easier with like the cleanup of everything as well.
It
too,
is,
right?
actually, because you're just scooping poop out of there versus, you know, constantly throwing out pee pads, and it's more environmentally friendly as well. So
yeah, yeah, they agree. That is awesome. So we obviously talked a little bit about events coming up and everything like that. So are these guys, what we didn't mention is the adoption. So are these guys ready for adoption, or?
they won't be. So every rescue, again, does it differently. But since there was Sam, these guys are going in to be neutered and spayed on August 14th, which means they will be ready for adoption on August 16th.
Okay. And is it normal for, obviously, because they're quite young, so is that something that is recommended when they're younger, is to get spayed and neutered?
Again, I think that's an individual vet thing. Just from being with rescues and fosters, I think it's a really responsible thing to do.
Absolutely.
And we're guaranteeing there's not going to be any puppies out of this group anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously for spaying and neutering, if you guys, some people still don't really know, so spaying is for the female, neutering is for the male. Obviously, if you guys have any questions or concerns, you guys can reach out to us. Like I mentioned previously, you can reach out to all the rescues in town, where everyone's here to support everyone. There's tons of questions, and I know that we can't answer all of them today, but we are here at Paws and Talk. We are here to obviously support you guys, and same with Adopt-A-Mutt. So again, we really want to thank everyone, and for coming in today. We want to thank the puppies, thank Robin for bringing all of them here to us. And if you guys can, go online, go on Facebook, check out Adopt-A-Mutt. And if you guys have any questions, concerns, email Sam. She's there to support you guys. And if you guys are looking for events, upcoming events, you can go onto their website, which we'll provide for you in a link below. And yeah, so is there anything else that you want our community to know that you can think of that's popping up into your head?
You know, all I can say is all the rescues are in dire need of fosters, even if they're short term. So even if you can only give 2 weeks of your time, Northern Reach is one of the organizations where 2 weeks is more than enough time, and every rescue appreciates that.
And I mean, guys, I think after seeing these guys, I feel like everyone should foster. And it doesn't have to be a permanent basis. Obviously, we discussed, fostering fails and everything like that. But if you guys can help, please do. Everyone needs your support, and these guys definitely need support. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. We will see you guys in a few weeks. Bye, guys.